finally the big day. I am bringing my car to a performance shop. Slight change of plans. I'm bringing it to a performance shop to get the cam replaced or swapped on this. It's basically stock right now. It has shorty headers on it. It has a torque converter. It has a 91 octane tune from Diablo Sport. That's pretty much it as far as performance stuff goes. That's all about to change. It's in the middle of the week right now. I'm gonna drop off my car at a shop locally and they're gonna swap it out. Maybe if I'm lucky, it'll be done by next week. Hopefully, because this is my daily driver. But I decided to go with a performance shop because Randy and Ivan, they've been having a lot of trouble with his GTO. If you don't know, Randy's my brother, Ivan's my stepdad. Anyways, they're doing a lot of work on his car. He had a problem with lifter failure and it wiped out his cam, did a decent amount of damage, but they're in the process of putting that back together. And they've been having some technical difficulties with that. So I've been sitting on these parts. Like if you've been waiting for this video, you probably know. I've been waiting on these parts, or I've had them for like 2 months. So I just started getting antsy and I wanted to get this taken care of. I wanted to get this all done. It's been just killing me that I have this stuff sitting here and I haven't been able to do anything with it. So I'm really excited about that. One of the things, I guess, going into this is I got the dyno tune done at a different place and it was on a Mustang dyno. And this time it's going to be Dynojet, I believe. So the readings won't be super accurate. So afterwards, at some point, I'm going to actually go back to the original place and have them dyno test it again, just so I have a more true comparison. One thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to kind of mess with Randy and Ivan a little bit, because they were expecting me to eventually come over there and start the cam swap process with them. But since I was waiting on them and all that and decided to go a different route, I'm actually just going to mess with them a little bit. I'm going to tell them that I brought it into the shop to get lifters swapped out or something. Said, so yeah, car is making bad sounds and misfiring, not good. Dealership said they'd check it out under warranty and let me know what's going on with it by this weekend. Sounds different than before, but similar. And I'm gonna convince them that it's broken basically, and then I'm gonna roll up with the cam swap and see if they can help me figure out what's going on with it. Afterwards, I'm just gonna finish it, get everything done, and be like, I don't know, it still sounds kind of funny, and then yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it'd be funny, kind of like a elaborate dad joke. I don't know, man. I'm just super stoked. I'm glad this is finally happening. It's also going to be much louder. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm going to have long tube headers finally, and it's going to have 3-inch exhaust all the way back. And I'm going to start out with no mufflers or anything, no nothing. So it's probably going to be loud as hell, and my wife's probably going to be mad at me, and I'm probably going to end up putting mufflers on it. But we'll at least have a couple weeks without that, and it's going to be pretty crazy sounding, I think. Super excited. Let's do this. Alright, so small update. It's been about a week or so since I dropped off my car at the shop, and it took a little bit longer than I hoped it would take, but you know, this kind of thing happens, you know. It'd just be like a small thing, one thing or another. So it was just kind of like coordinating, getting everything to work together. There's like a separate guy that actually did the tune on the car using HP tuners, so he was able to get around to doing that yesterday, and it took a while, so they weren't able to get it to exhaust shop, and today it finally got into the exhaust shop, where they're going to be putting a 3-inch exhaust from the headers back. They also weren't able to locate or build an X pipe for some reason, so they're going to put in an H pipe, which will probably sound better, but it's technically not as good as an X pipe, so I might end up changing that out. But yeah, I guess I'll get into some more details after we get into the car and check it out. But right now I'm just waiting for the call to say that it's done at the exhaust shop, and then I'm gonna take an Uber over there and pick it up. Okay, here is the video many of you have been waiting for. This is the Texas Speed Cam Stage 2. Gonna start doing some audio clips here. One thing I'm gonna do slightly different from the other videos that I have seen is I'm actually just gonna show a couple different points of view of what this actually sounds like. Now, keep in mind, as I mentioned before, this exhaust is somewhat modified and probably a little bit different than a lot of other stuff you've heard. This is all 3-inch exhaust from full-length headers from eBay. And currently there is no mufflers on it, which is going to change very soon. Still no exhaust tips on it, just completely open right now. So I'm gonna do a cold start really quick. I'll let it idle down to the regular idle speed, and then we'll do a little bit of in-car, and I'll do some revs also, but that'll be just a separate clip. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to do a cold start, let it idle a little bit. It wasn't like completely warm just yet, so it was probably idling maybe like 50 RPM or maybe 100 higher than it typically does. So yeah, I mean, that is pretty typical. Like that sound is pretty typical for this cam, it seems like. It's not super choppy, and I can't tell how much of that is the cam and how much of that is the tune that's currently on there. The guy that I had tune this, I don't really love very much. He did a decent job. This thing's drivable, but I have like an idle surge at a low RPM, tried to contact him. He never got back to me, so I guess I'm not very important. But I will be eventually getting a better tune on this, at least I'm hoping. So maybe that'll remedy that a little bit. The dude that did tune it tried to drop the RPM down just a little bit though, to get it a little more choppy. It just seems like it's not getting very great fueling right now. But that aside, it does sound pretty damn good, and there's definitely a power improvement. But we'll get into that in a second. So here we go. This is the inside sound that you get with the cam. It's definitely serious. So I don't know if you could hear that, but there's a little bit of an idle surge. Like if I'm not on the throttle at all and I kind of just start rolling, I get like an idle surge, like it keeps on wanting to give it more fuel. So I'm not really loving that right now. There's a few other little things that I need to address. My motor mounts are actually pretty worn out, I found out. And right now it's like sagging in a certain way, and it's causing my headers to actually hit the steering column now, which it didn't do at all right after the swap. But you know, it just can't handle all that horsepower, baby. So it wore out the motor mounts, and now I need to get those replaced to get it back off the steering column. So like I hit like a certain point, because the steering column's not like perfectly round, it's kind of like oblong in its motion. So at certain points in the steering, it actually rubs on the headers now, which is really annoying. But in the process of trying to figure that all out, I found out I needed a new power steering pump. There you go. Yeah, I wanted to just shut up for a second so you could hear that. But yeah, I found out I needed a power steering pump in the process of figuring out all that stuff, so at least I got that taken care of. Oh, this idiot wants to get over. Thing just sounds angry like all the time. It's awesome. Unfortunately, it is a little bit too loud, and it's not horrible in the city because you're kind of just going through the gears all the time anyways, and that's literally like 95% of my driving right now. I have pretty short commutes. Like to get to my office that I work at is only like, it's like under 4 miles, so it's super close. I'm doing short trips all the time, so it doesn't really bother me a whole lot right now. But like if I go over to Ivan and Randy's house to do anything to the car, or like just hang out, whatever, that's like a good 30-mile drive for me, and it gets extremely annoying. So originally, I can't remember if I put it into this video or not at the moment, but I was going to do some Cherry Bomb, what the hell is it called, M80 mufflers. They're single chamber, like bullet style mufflers, and that was the original plan, and then I ended up going with a slightly different option. It's what the hell is it called? It's made by Dynojet, but it's Thrush Rattlers it's called, which I think is probably one of the worst names for a muffler possible. But I'm gonna get those put on pretty soon, and I'm gonna get some actual exhaust tips, and it's gonna be pretty legit. This is what it sounds like when I put it in neutral. Like I have the AC on, so there's a little more load, the RPM's up a little bit, but when I put it in neutral, I get more of that lope. The lope is definitely not as extreme as I thought it might be, but again, that could just be because of the tune. It's kind of hard to tell at this moment, and I may not actually do any more tuning for quite a while, so we'll see. I'm gonna go under a bridge. It's fucking loud. Going to a parking lot that's pretty close by to the house, and I'm just gonna do some more idle video, and I'm gonna do some revs so you guys can hear what it actually sounds like. Alright, well that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that this helps you out in making your decision if you want to get a cam. I'm also going to put the dyno results for the cam in here. I almost forgot about that. Actually turned out pretty decent, I think. The car was very hot when it was ran on the dyno, so that may or may not factor into the results a little bit. But I guess we'll see how much of a difference there is when I get a 392 intake on this thing eventually. But really, overall though, I'm really enjoying the cam. There's a big difference in power to me. I was concerned about mid-range power and torque originally, just because I know that everything's going to move up higher in the RPM band. And honestly, I think low end is about the same, but there's definitely more responsiveness. It's more responsive than it ever was before. I would say mid-range is a little more beefy, and top end, like I'd say like over 3,500 RPM, maybe 4,000, is really when it starts waking up, and it just makes a huge difference. But also the headers had to do with part of that. The tune itself has to do with that. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I also have a 2800 stall converter, so can't discount that. But all these things together is really turning out to make this thing a beast. And I can't wait to get like 391 or 373 gears in this, because that's also going to make a huge difference as far as acceleration goes. All in all, I'm loving it. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please like the video, subscribe to keep updated on what we're going to be doing. I've been talking about doing like adventure videos for a long time, and now that I'm going to be kind of having a lull in modifications, it's probably going to be a lot more adventure video type stuff, or just talking about cars in general. So anyways, if you like this stuff, just keep up with what we do. Please subscribe. Talk to you guys later.